June 7th, college baseball picks on the College Baseball Experience of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Edge Boost. That is the bank account that is built for bettors. Sign up today at edgeboost.bet with the promo code SGPN and get a free Refstar Terrace t-shirt. Claim your shirt at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/refs. And we're also brought to you by Naira Bets. Get your $25 free bet for the Belmont Stakes by going to nyrabets.com/SGPN25. That is nyrabets.com/SGPN25, promo code SGPN25. And what is going on, everybody? Welcome into the College Baseball Experience Late Nights with Noah. 2:22 a.m. We are kicking this thing off Eastern time because Coastal Carolina and Auburn just wrapped up at about 2:15-ish. What a game. We saw an hour and 45-minute rain delay or weather delay that kind of, put that game on hold there for a little bit. Auburn climbed back into it, and then we go to extra innings. And to end the ninth inning, Blake Barthol diving catch doubles off the runner at second base to end the ninth. Blake Barthol then goes out there and hits a no-doubt bomb to right field for his second home run of the day. And then the bottom of the ninth ends by, you guessed it, a diving catch of Blake Barthol over at second base, and then doubles up the runner at second once again. Unbelievable game. That was the Blake Barthol game, no doubt about it. Coastal Carolina goes into Auburn, wins game one of the best of three Super Regional Series. And they've got possibly Jacob Morrison on the mound tomorrow, folks. The Sun Belt Pitcher of the Year. Holy smokes. It's 2016 all over again. The people feel it down there in Conway/Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Shout out to those that are tuning in live. We've got Daniel in here. Anyone else need a bag of shit on Florida State? I was on Oregon State, so I actually luck boxed my way into a W there. Larry saying those double plays were BS. Can-Am saying what an ending of Coastal and Auburn. Outstanding baseball games to finish off the night. We had Oregon State walk off Florida State by scoring 4 runs in the 9th and 10th innings. Both of the nightcaps go 10 innings. Both of the afternoon games were blowouts. That's the way it went today. I went 3-0. I had a very nice day, so I'm very chipper. I also had 2 appearances on VSiN. Just everything going a little bit right for the boy today. So if it all comes crashing down tomorrow and we've got a full slate of super regional games, don't be surprised. But I am very excited for what we've got on tap today. And we've even got that Auburn Coastal Carolina game populated into the odds board on DraftKings. So again, shop around, especially in the morning when a lot of books will have these odds released. Some of them don't have the game 2s for the day 1 Super Regional Series that we just saw results from today, especially this Coastal Carolina Auburn game. I'm not sure which books have it and which don't, but I'm glad that DK does, because I'll be reading off of that odds screen for the show. First game that we're going to tee off with is Louisville and Miami. Game 2 of this one, Louisville dressed up the score early. They scored 6 runs in the 3rd inning. AJ Siskar with a throwing error to home, what could have been a double play to get Miami out of an inning, turned into a snowball effect against the freshman arm. And Louisville runs it up. They put a couple of balls into that wind that I was talking about yesterday. I didn't go and find wind for what it's worth. With 4 games, with 2 games in the College World Series, it's much easier to go and find weather. Finding 8 different stadiums takes like 45 minutes for me on a map to figure out the wind. So I encourage you guys, if you have the spare time, to go over there and do that for yourself. But I will do my best to kind of explain what kind of climate we'll be seeing for the most part in the games, if I have any thoughts on it. Louisville, Miami, this park played small yesterday because of the wind. And when it plays small, it is 1000% going to favor the Cardinals in this series, in this matchup. They just have the more powerful lineup top to bottom than Miami. It's really kind of Daniel Cuvée. I know Dorian Gonzalez and Max Galvin have kind of appeared at times throughout the year to give him support, but it's a really pitchable lineup, especially when you drill Cuvée in the hand in the first inning or second inning, and then he's not feeling 100% after that. But yeah, that's what happened today in that first at bat for Cuvée. Patrick Forbes looked great. I think he went 7 strong. It was either 6 or 7 through 100 plus pitches, was removed with 2 outs to go in one of those 6th or 7th inning there. The matchup that we're going to probably see Saturday, these are 2 of the pitchers that were listed on the game notes. Tucker Bivin for Louisville and Griffin Hughes for Miami. Bivin began the year as this team's closer. He's only got 4 starts on the season. It's a 4.37 ERA for the Cardinals' expected starting pitcher. But in those 4 starts, his last 4 starts, he has a 2.47 ERA. The Sierra, though, is a little bit alarming at a 4.38. So he could be due for some regression here, but also Griffin Hughes could be due for a little bit of regression after a complete game against Columbia. But in his last 5 starts have not been great, but Columbia is in that sample size. Louisville's got a much better lineup than Columbia, I would say. So in his last 4 ACC starts, it's a 6.21 ERA for Griffin Hughes, 3.90 on the season. He's got a 6-7 record in 90 innings. He's got 94 punch-outs, 33 walks, and a 3.43 Sierra, which isn't great compared to the season-long 3.90 ERA. So we could be once again seeing a little bit of an over in this matchup. And again, I don't expect Louisville's pitching to be lights out like it has been in the regional and in game 1 here. So once again, I feel like this is going to be a higher scoring game. And when it's a higher scoring game, it's going to suit Louisville better. So today, I feel a little bit more confident in the over 13 rather than the Louisville money line. Yesterday, it was a little bit flipped. I like the Louisville money line a little bit more than the over, but I like both picks. But for this one, I'll go with Louisville over 13 as my pick there. The next matchup is North Carolina, Arizona. Now, I thought this was the most, Benetton and I both agreed on this. It seemed like the most competitive 18-2 ball game ever. Arizona early puts up the first run, scores in the top of the first. That was only the second time that Jake Knapp had given up a run in the top of the first. Jake Knapp gave up the most hits he has all season long against this Arizona lineup that has been sticking it really well in the postseason, both the Big 12 tournament and the regional weekend. And honestly, they didn't look terribly bad offensively in this matchup. Defensively, they didn't necessarily kick it around. They actually made some really good plays. Talking about Aaron Walton in center field, made back-to-back outstanding plays that should be on top 10 Sports Center plays for the day. I don't know if it will be or not, but Walton definitely showed up and showed out in this matchup defensively. Arizona just didn't get the clutch hit. And if they got the clutch hit, they chased Jake Knapp probably in the 4th or 5th inning, to be honest, because he was laboring a little bit. But because North Carolina was able to open up pretty quickly, I think it was the 2nd or 3rd inning, they build an 8-1 lead. They were just able to ride their horse, Jake Knapp, out there for 100+ innings, save the bullpen. They didn't throw any quality or important arms to win this series. So the bullpen's at full strength for North Carolina, which is not a great thing for Arizona. But Arizona hasn't used some of their top pieces out of the pen either because, like I said, the game got away from them early, score-wise rather than performance. So Arizona's bullpen should be good to go here as well. And that's why it kind of lends me to the thought process of it should be a lower scoring game. Arizona should have a quick trigger on former reliever, now starting pitcher Raul Garezar, who's only got 7 starts on the year this season. On the road, he has a 3.97 ERA compared to his full season long 2.54. So it should be a quick trigger, quick pull for Garezar in this matchup, and you get to the bullpen that's been throwing pretty well down the stretch of the season. That's kind of been Arizona's strength. The offense has been an added bonus lately. This was an offense that was kind of nation average when it came to WRC plus. Coming into this weekend, WRC plus wise, they were 102, which was bottom 16 in the field of 64. So yeah, definitely something to note there for Arizona. But like I said, they hit 13 home runs in the second and third game in that regional. They entered the NCAA tournament with like the 53rd most homers. So this is an offense that has its groove right now. And like I said, I thought it was okay yesterday. So the under's a little bit dangerous. But I do lend myself to thinking it's going to be an under. But the pick is going to be North Carolina once again here. Jason DeCaro has been really good, like really good down the stretch. His last 7 starts, it's a 2.75 ERA and 79.2 innings this season. He's got a 3.50 ERA, 70 strikeouts, 25 walks. The Sierra is inflated at a 3.81, which is not great. But like I said, he's finished the season better than the start of the year, where he was the Friday night starter. There was expectations on that sophomore, a little bit of a sophomore slump beginning of the season, but he's got that electric stuff back. And it's a 9-3 record for the Arizona righty. And they've got the fully locked and loaded bullpen ready to go with both freshmen and Ryan Lynch and Walker McDuffie that they're ready to deploy there. North Carolina's minus 330, but it is a great parlay piece. I wouldn't necessarily touch that minus 3.5. I wasn't confident in North Carolina minus 2.5 in game 1. And again, they won 18-2, but I thought it was much closer than that score indicates. So I think a lot of people may be betting this run line and or money line. Again, if you want action on this matchup, North Carolina is a good parlay piece, and we just got to find a dance partner for it later on in the show, which is more than capable of happening here. Before we talk about the rest of the slate on this show, I want to tell you guys about the SGPN app, because you can get all of our free picks, all the free podcasts for the Stanley Cup, the College World Series, the NBA Finals, and the MLB, all the other sports that are going on right now. We've got guys over there filling out picks for free on our stat sheet, tallying our records. I've been so lazy with my records throughout the years. That's one way to go over there and check out my record. I bet everything to win a unit. I know Sean said it on VSiN earlier today, which I actually kind of surprised me that I was that good. But I don't know if I've filled in every single pick, because you can't get the parlays in there, which I've lost a few parlays like everybody does. And I think that would be it. It just doesn't count the parlays. But I usually have a money line parlay every single day. And Edge Boost, kind of helps me out. Edge Boost, the first ever bank account that is built for bettors, ensuring that all gambling transactions are approved. There are no usage fees, no minimums. You can earn cashback rewards, get a 100% approval for all betting deposits. Sign up today at edgeboost.bet with the promo code SGPN. And if you sign up this week, you'll get a free Refs Are Terrorists t-shirt. Go over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/refs to get your free shirt. And Underdog Fantasy is going long for the NBA Finals with their extender bonus on their Pick'em platform. Hop in during Game 2, and the longer that the series goes, the bigger that the bonus will get. Sign up today with the promo code TCESGPN to claim your special pick, plus first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. That is UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code TCESGPN. And bet the Belmont Stakes at Saratoga with Naira Bets. Sign up today using promo code SGPN25 and get a $25 free bet plus a $200 deposit match bonus. Whether you're a seasoned bettor or just getting started, Naira Bets makes it easy for you to jump in on the action. This exclusive offer is just for the Belmont Stakes, so don't wait. Join now. Claim your free $25 Belmont bet today at nairabets.com/SGPN25. And we are back here on the College Baseball Experience. Myself, Noah Bieniek, running through the entire June 7th college baseball slate. It's a fully loaded super regional slate. All 8 games, all 8 series are taking place here on Saturday. Checking in on the chat. Jerry Davis says, wow, that plus 120 for Coastal looked sweat-free for a while and then turned really sweaty as fuck at the end. Daniel saying, yeah, the series is over. I'm probably missed the timing on that for him, for me to realize what series he's talking about. Just parlay Louisville and UNC money line, he says. North Carolina, Arkansas as a parlay is even money, says Ryan Hasty. Daniel saying, well, I don't know why Arkansas is favored, to be honest. Daniel's on Tennessee, it looks like. He says it should be a toss-up. Zach Root is going for Arkansas there, talking about he has no idea about the pitching. Your guess is as good as mine when it comes to Tennessee. It's either going to be Marcus Phillips or Liam Doyle, I would assume. Jerry Davis saying Arkansas is a better team at every level, and they're hosting. Ryan Hasty saying Tennessee is a solid squad for sure there. I'm going to take you to my first lock of the day. Actually, my favorite bet of the day, with my two VSiN hits. I led off with this one. It's Murray State and Duke. And once again, I'm going with a Racers over. To finish off that Oxford regional, they had to use their best starting pitcher, Nick Schutte, and their SP2 and Isaac Silva. And I don't know whether they're going to trot out Schutte, Silva, or somebody else. Like the other guy was Ernie, something along the something similar to that. I don't know why his name has escaped me. Give me 2 seconds. Kane Elmy. So I combined his first two names there, or both of his names there. But Murray State, not sure who they're going to go with. Outside of Schutte and Silva, they honestly got smacked around by both Ole Miss and Georgia Tech, who they played in that regional. But Murray State held their own offensively. They scored 8+ runs in each of the 4 games they played. The ACC regular season champ and the number 10 host seed in the NCAA tournament. Both of those teams are better than Duke, in my opinion. So it should be good to go for Murray State to be able to put up some runs offensively, and Duke should be able to help us out here, because on the other side, the Blue Devils have a 123 WRC plus. That was top 16 in the field coming in. They also are hitting over a home run and 3/4 per game this season. So this offense is legit. And Owen Prosch, who's the starting pitcher, he did have a great start during the regional, but it's an 8.72 ERA in his last 5 appearances. However, at home, he's been a little bit better, almost 2.5 runs better at home, with a 2.34 compared to his 4.83 ERA on the season in 59.2 innings. He's also got 84 strikeouts, 26 walks, a 2.62 SIERA, 2.19 batting average against. I'm going to project that it's Nick Schutte going for Murray State. We saw this with Evansville. I believe they went with Kenton Deverman, who was their number 1. They used him on the Friday in the regional. They used him on the Monday in the regional. And then I think they trotted him out for the Friday game 1 against Tennessee in the super regional. I wouldn't be surprised if Murray State does that as well. Schutte was a relief appearance on Monday. I think he only threw like 40 to 50 pitches. So I wouldn't be surprised if he gets the ball. On the season, it's a 4.55 ERA, but in his last 4 appearances, it's an 8.10. That's 2 postseason appearances, both in the Missouri Valley Conference Tournament and then the NCAA tournament. And away from home, it's a 5.40 ERA compared to that 4.55 season long, where he's thrown 87 innings, 91 strikeouts, 46 walks with a 3.96 SIERA and a 2.26 batting average against. This Duke lineup is loaded. However, it does not have AJ Gracia for this game. He is suspended because of that whole, construction helmet debacle. But we're looking at Ben Miller was practicing on Thursday prior to the super regional beginning, or Friday, on the Friday prior to the super regional beginning. So Ben Miller should be good to go for the super. I doubt that he misses the biggest postseason games of the year with a couple of days rest, because I know he missed that regional final. But with some rest, I think he should be good to go. Wallace Clark was unbelievable in their regional. But up and down this lineup, Jake Hyde, 11 home runs, Tyler Albright, 10 home runs, Sam Harris has 9 home runs coming into this regional, super regional. They've got 6 guys that are batting 300 and above, 8 that are hitting 295 or better in this lineup. Duke is pretty loaded. And then you're looking at, like I said, Murray State, 8+ runs in the 4 games that they've played. Jonathan Hogart was really good. Dustin Mercer hit like 8 or 9 extra bases to get the most outstanding player in that Oxford regional. And he's batting 351 on the season with a 924 OPS. Hogart's super important because Duke has a lot of left-handed pitching. Hogart bats leadoff at the top of this Racers lineup, and he's a right-handed stick. It's super important because he's got to set that table. He's got to be on base for these left-handed hitters that, there's a noticeable split. Murray State's still a really good offense against left-handed pitching. They are hitting 285 with a 915 OPS, but against righties, it's 326 with a 954. Ole Miss was trying to exploit that small hole throughout that regional, but Murray State was still putting up runs. So I know Hooks started a game. He got chased in the 3rd or 4th inning. The one guy that had success was Hunter Elliott, who, if Ole Miss just starts him in that first game and they don't throw off, maybe Murray State's not in this position, but they are. And I'm not quite sure that Owen Prosch or any of these other arms that Duke has is Hunter Elliott good per se. They do have a couple of quality lefties that we could maybe be worried about. And I know that Chris Pollard will play matchups, and he's not going to let a guy go out there and get roasted by this Murray State offense. He's not afraid to pull that trigger after just 1 or 2 innings and bullpen the game up. But for the most part, I think that Murray State's offense should be live in this game. I like the over 13 here as one of my favorite plays going into Saturday. Jumping in back into the chat, Daniel said Arkansas had one of the softest regionals. Just saying. I mean, he's not wrong. Adam says odds that UTSA, but Murray has that dog in him, he says. Hasty says Murray has stared death in the face and laughed. Hasty saying we need the lock music. I wish I had the lock music. I don't have any lock music on this computer right now without Colby. Dilly Daggers saying for the number 3 team in the country, we got hoed with our draw last regionals. I'm assuming Dilly's probably Dilly Daggers might be an Arkansas fan, talking about their host last year, which was a tough 4 seed in SEMO, a tough 3 seed in Kansas State that just didn't play up to their quality the entire season. And the 2 seed was at Louisiana Tech, who was the 2 seed in that regional last year. Caden Bodine is the man, says Matt Costello. Beavers winning tomorrow 12-3, says Jasper Fletchner. Interesting call there. Dilly Daggers saying, talking about this year. What team are you talking about getting hoed? I think he's talking about Arkansas. Yeah, Dilly Daggers just said Arkansas SEMO. Todd Pettiford Truther says Auburn, try not to break my heart challenge. My apologies. I was on Auburn to win the basketball national title, and unfortunately that didn't quite come through because of my Gators. But we'll get to that Auburn game. I think it is next. So Adam Glick, that's coming up right now. What's their line on this one? It just came out. Let's see. It's not next. There's a 2:00 game. That's West Virginia LSU. I've got it wrong on my spreadsheet. We'll go on the spreadsheet just because it's a nice segue. Auburn is -120. Coastal Carolina is currently -110 on DraftKings. The total is 11, -115 both ways. I think Auburn's fighting an uphill battle now. I mean, they needed to win that game with Samuel Dutton on the mound, not going up against Jacob Morrison. Coastal Carolina's got a strong starting rotation and a good couple of arms in that bullpen. But like the head of the 3-headed dragon, like the main guy is Jacob Morrison, the 6'7" Michigander baby. I believe he's Flushing, a native there. So that will be an interesting matchup. I'm sure him and Ike Irish have plenty of knowledge of each other and history in the past, growing up playing travel ball against each other, I'm sure. Yeah, I think Morrison's going to get the ball here for Coastal. He's 11-0 on the season with a 2.19 ERA and 90.1 innings. He's gotten 89 strikeouts, 19 walks, a 2.99 SIERA, 191 batting average against. On the road, though, is where you can kind of get him and this entire Coastal Carolina team. That's been the knock on him, and the reason why I took Auburn to win this series was just on the road. Coastal Carolina hasn't been as sharp. They haven't played very many high major competition this season, just the 2 wins against Clemson that I can recall. And on the road against Auburn, who hasn't lost a home series all year, it felt like this is the Tigers series to lose. But now, like I said, Morrison, 408 road ERA compared to the 219 season long. In his last 3 starts, 371 ERA. But now you've burned Samuel Dutton, and Cam Tilley is not the guy. You trot out Cam Tilley, I'm betting against him. He did not fare very well against Central Connecticut State. Didn't even get out of the third inning, if I recall correctly, giving up like 5 runs, or at least he was charged for 5. So this is, in my opinion, going to come down to one of the 2 freshmen for both of the next 2 days. I just don't know the order that Butch Thompson's going to trot him out in. It'll either be Christian Chatterton, who I think probably gets the ball here on Saturday, because then Andres Alvarez through last Sunday, they'll probably keep him on the Sunday start, to my estimation. Or it could be Cade Fisher, who was a starting pitcher for a lot of the beginning of the year, moved into that bullpen, has been better out of the bullpen. I've said it for a while now. He's a good bullpen arm. I'm not quite sure if he's a starter. We already went down that route with Florida, and then we tried it again with Auburn. Didn't quite work, but maybe it's the Cade Fisher game tomorrow. Right now, I'm going to project that it's Chatterton, who has a 4-1 record on the year, 4.47 ERA and 52.1 innings. He's got 60 strikeouts, 18 walks, a 3 SIERA, a 2.01 batting average against. However, in his last 3 appearances, it's a 7 ERA. Up until those, the second to last and the third to last start he's made, the last one I think was all right, but his final 2 regular season SEC starts, if I remember correctly, weren't the best. However, the final month and a half, he was pitching very well, and he was honestly the best pitcher on the staff for Auburn down the stretch, in my opinion, that started off these games. The big note for me personally is that, Auburn's already used Carson Myers, who's been their not only best lefty, but also one of their best arms out of the pen. I don't believe they used Ryan Hetzler in that matchup, but you're also looking at Graves pitched outstanding today. He was on the bump after the rain delay. Myers was before the rain delay, which unfortunately he wasn't able to really continue because of the 1.5-hour break. And then for Coastal, they used out of the bullpen Matthew Potok, who looked all right. Dominic Carbone, actually, Auburn had some good looks on him, and that's Coastal Carolina's most reliable left-hander out of the bullpen there. So really interesting development on that point of things, because he was the most important arm for the Chanticleers coming into this series. So now that Auburn's got some looks on him, possibly an advantage moving forward in this series, because I don't think that's the last that Auburn is going to see of Carbone. So yeah, Carbone and Potok were the 2 big names that Coastal used out of that bullpen. And Fluky went all right. That was a guy that you needed to pounce on pretty early if you're an Auburn fan or, player or whatever, or better. You wanted Auburn to kind of get out in front and control this game script. And that wasn't really ever allowed to happen. Coastal Carolina led this thing pretty much throughout until the game was basically tied. We all know the 10th inning, really hard to Coastal Carolina losing one of the final 2 games. Regional round, every team that won game 1 went on to win the series. 79% of the time in the super regional round, the team that wins game 1 goes on to win the series. -110 with the Sun Belt Pitcher of the Year is really good value, and he's a tough look. You cannot simulate 6-7 on the bump. You just can't. So yeah, I think Coastal Carolina is not a bad play. I'm going to write that one down, fire on it, give myself a little bit of volume tomorrow, and that way, if I have overall good looks on the slate, it's not going to burn me if a couple of bad bounces don't go my way. -110 Coastal Carolina money line. I'm writing that one down for the end of the show that we can recap on. Let's talk about West Virginia LSU. That was the game that I went out of order for, just on a segue. Going back to the Mountaineers and Tigers here, I expect this one to be, the two stud left-handers. Because Anthony Ianson came out of the bullpen Monday in the regional final, and Cade Anderson's going to be on full week rest after starting that Saturday game against Dallas Baptist, I think it's going to be Cade Anderson. On the season, in 16 starts, he's 9-1 with a 3.28 ERA in 96 innings. He's leading the country with 156 strikeouts, 26 walks, a 123 SIERA that is elite, with a 216 batting average against. His last 6 starts, this guy's been cruising with a 233 ERA. For West Virginia, this is confirmed. Steve Sabins in the press conference said that Griffin Kern will get the ball in 16 starts this year. This guy's reminded me a lot of Derek Clark, their Friday night guy from last season, who was a left-handed bulldog. Kern's a little bit bigger in size, but reminds me a whole lot like him. Kern is 5-2 on the year with a 3.13 ERA in 95 innings. He's got 100 strikeouts, 29 walks, a 3.23 SIERA, a 2.37 batting average against. In his last 5 appearances, it's a 2.23 ERA. Both of these left-handed arms are really good. This should be a low-scoring game, which favors the dog being a little live in this matchup. And I know that West Virginia hasn't really faced the quality of left-handed pitching like Cade Anderson's going to provide them in this matchup, but the splits for West Virginia against left-handed pitching and right-handed pitching is a big difference. Against right-handers, the Mountaineers are just hitting 286 with an 814 OPS. Against lefties, they're hitting 347 with a 972 OPS. It's one of the best splits in the country against southpaws. So I think West Virginia could be live, especially if we get that LSU offense from the regional that has that tendency. The entire year, we've seen this offense kind of sleepwalk at times. I still like LSU to not only get out of the super regional, I have them in the College World Series finals, and Cade Anderson's a big part of that. But this matchup, I don't think it's the worst thing for West Virginia. And we're currently looking at them as a plus 240 moneyline dog, LSU minus 330. I want no business in that minus 330. Total is 11.5. It should be under this 11.5 with the way that, both of these pitchers have thrown, with the way that LSU's offense has performed lately. If you don't want to be as aggressive on the money line with Dub V, you can go plus 2.5 at minus 110. Or just stick to that under 11.5. But for me, I'm going to go West Virginia plus 240, under 11.5 here in this one. Honestly, maybe wait till first pitch, because a lot of people are going to be using LSU as a parlay partner, and I'm just not necessarily feeling it on the Bayou Bengals here Saturday afternoon. As confident to get them into that parlay. Let's check in on the chat here. Absolutely flowing here. 65 watching live on YouTube at 2:55 in the morning. Not bad at all, everybody. Jasper saying Jamie Arnold's going to have his worst start of the season tomorrow and break his arm. That is certainly a prediction, Jasper. Dilly Daggers saying congrats on being the 3rd overall seed. Arkansas, you get to play the 3rd betting favorite to win it all in Tennessee during the Super Regionals, and then the 2nd favorite, LSU, is waiting on us in Omaha. Dilly Daggers is not wrong on the Arkansas big picture draw. Not wrong at all, but that regional was pretty soft. I'm going to agree with the chat on that one. Marcus Cameron coming in saying SEC is ass. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of halfway hoping, not necessarily, but halfway hoping that the SEC only gets one team in. And if the ACC gets 5, that would be absolutely hilarious that they set the record for the most teams from one conference in Oman. It's not the SEC. That would be certainly pretty funny, just for the laugh. Brandon Westbrook said, would you go over with Auburn and Coastal? I'm not necessarily looking to get on the tracks with a Jacob Morrison train coming through, but the way that the offenses were swinging it tonight and that ballpark plays pretty offensively, especially if Jacob Morrison doesn't go very long in the start, this one could be an over type of game. Daniel asking who has the best bullpen left. I think I answered that during the Auburn Coastal handicap. Ben saying, promise you will give us an 8-game, 8-leg parlay for funsies, Noah. I am totally against parlays in this show, because then everybody always comes back the next day and they actually thought I was serious with the multiple leg parlays and whatnot. So I'm not. I've learned my lesson. I don't even go there anymore on these types of shows. But I know you and Jack certainly do enjoy your lottery ticket parlay for sure. Let's take a quick break and then we'll finish up with the final 4 games of this slate. Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas is giving away the ultimate fantasy football experience for a 12-person league to draft in Vegas and be treated like VIPs during your stay. You will get a limo ride from the airport, a $5,000 tab for stadium swim, and a hotel stay for you and your 11 league mates. You can always get 15% off all Circa properties over there in Las Vegas with the promo code SGP15. Enter the ultimate fantasy football contest for free at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/circa. That is sportsgamblingpodcast.com/CIRCA. And you've heard us talk about Rhythm before, but now they've just dropped a new game-changing feature called Power Trends. These are AI-detected patterns where Rhythm's model has consistently won and has a high return on investment. Power Trends are updated daily and are exclusive to Rhythm. There are no touts, no noise, just clean data-backed bets. Download the Rhythm app, check out Power Trends, and start betting smarter, because you know that we will be over here at SGPN. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. And the college baseball experience is brought to you by mybookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on every sport, including the NBA Finals. And for the true degens, the MyBookie money bag is there for you as well. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of different locations, and it's easy to deposit, and you can get the lightning fast payouts using crypto as well. Head over to mybookie.ag with the promo code TCESGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply. That is mybookie.ag, promo code TCESGPN. And we are back here on the college baseball experience, running through the 8 games on Saturday, June 7th slate. It's been light for me so far. Just 2 locks so far on that beginning of the slate. But this is where it's going to get fun for me and for everybody else, because I like the afternoon/night slate here on Saturday. Let's jump into the just 3 games left. I must have went through 5 already. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I already done 5. I didn't even realize I was flying that far through the episode already. 5 p.m. Eastern, Tennessee, Arkansas. I think this is the one that a lot of people are looking forward to. A lot of people are going to be billing this up as a great starting pitcher matchup between possibly Liam Doyle. He's not yet confirmed. Or it could be Marcus Phillips. And then Zach Root is going to go for Arkansas. A lot of people are probably going to expect a pitcher's duel in this matchup. And I'm going to tell you the exact opposite. We're going over 11.5 here. In all 3 games that these two teams just played each other 3 weeks ago, all 3 of those games went over 11.5. Liam Doyle yeah, he's been one of the best pitchers in the country. He's up for the Golden Spikes Award with a 2.84 ERA on the year, 10-3 record, in 92 innings. He's got 158 strikeouts, 30 walks, with a 110 Sierra, 178 batting average against. However, on the road this season has been a big kind of bugaboo for him with a 5.17 ERA on the road away from Lindsey Nelson Stadium. And against this same Razorbacks offense, he only went 4.1 innings. He did strike out 10, but he gave up 8 runs, 6 of them earned on 11 hits 3 weeks ago. And this Arkansas offense is one of the best units against left-handed pitching in the country this season, hitting 352 with a 1059 OPS. The Hogs can rake, and I think both offenses are going to be able to put up their fair share of runs because Zach Root didn't necessarily have a great start against Tennessee either. 3.2 innings, 4 earned on 7 hits against the Vols 3 weekends ago. On 16 starts this year, Root is 7-5 with a 3.78 ERA in 85.2 innings he's thrown. He's got 113 strikeouts, 29 walks, 257 Sierra, and a 232 batting average against. I like both offenses in this matchup. Both of these guys have already seen these arms once before. You look at Arkansas's lineup, they're loaded with right-handed boomsticks. You're looking at Vahiva Aloy, who is up for the Golden Spikes as well. One of those final 3 that are in the running for that award. His brother Kahio Aloy is a big-time hitter. They are 2 of the guys that have double-digit home runs on this team. Charles Davalon as well at the top of the order. Ryder Helfrich is a right-handed hitter. Cam Kojal with 15 bombs. Brent Iredale has 13. This is an offense that honestly is one of the best units in general in the entire country. And then on the other side, Tennessee is also super talented on the offensive side of the ball. Second time seeing Zach Root. I think they should be all right. You're looking at that top of the order that, last year it was 5 guys, double-digit homers that all, had great batting averages. This year, staring right at you, Gavin Keelan, Andrew Fisher, Hunter Ensley, Dalton Bargo, Reese Chapman, all of them hitting above 280 with double-digit homers. This series should be very fun, but I'm not necessarily sure it's because of the starting pitching that's going to get a lot of the talk, at least before this game and possibly before the series. I'm going over 11.5 in all 3 games in that series. We saw the final weekend of SEC play, all 3 games over 11.5 runs. These offenses are legit. So give me that over 11.5. I think Arkansas wins it. I think if there's one arm that has a little bit of a better bounce back from their previous performance against these teams, it's Zach Root. He's a lefty going up against other really talented left-handed hitters in that Tennessee lineup. I think it should be able to fare him just a little bit more. And also Liam Doyle did relieve in that Monday regional final game through 2 2.3 of innings against Wake Forest to be able to get Tennessee into this position. So we'll see how well he bounces back after throwing 100 and plus some 130 pitches in a weekend here with 6 days of rest since his last appearance. Gabe Gackle enthusiast says Marcus Phillips is confirmed in this matchup. Well, that certainly takes away some of the trends that I was talking about for Liam Doyle. I do think that's probably the better move for Tennessee to start, Doyle on Sunday with a little bit more rest than after throwing him on Monday. But Marcus Phillips as well didn't get out of the 4th inning. I think he went 4.2 against Arkansas earlier in this series. On the season, 3.52 ERA and 71.2 innings. He's got 85 strikeouts, 28 walks with a 3.10 Sierra. He did throw really, really well against Cincinnati. I'd like to see him do that twice in a row. Let me look up his road ERA real quick. In a hostile environment like Baum Walker, how well will he be able to hold up? Because, like I said, it wasn't great the first time around for him against Arkansas. Marcus Phillips for Tennessee. Come on, my computer's taking forever to load and populate his stat page. Here we go. Doing it on the fly, but forgive me. His road ERA compared to a 3.59 season long. On the road, it's 5.10. And just for good measure, Marcus Phillips versus Arkansas. He went, I don't believe he got out of at least the fifth inning. He was definitely an early exit. And let's see here. Against Arkansas, he only threw 4.1, gave up 3 earned on 7 hits with only 3 strikeouts. So he walked 3. That was their one win during the series. So something to note there, but I do think it also just it lends its way to the over. Either way, I like the over with either Liam Doyle or Marcus Phillips, like I began the handicap off with for this matchup. So Tennessee, Arkansas over at 11.5. It's also probably listed for Liam Doyle as well. So makes me like it slightly more. But again, I kind of had that feeling that I was not 1,000% sure who could throw in that matchup. So I like the over. I think that both offenses will show up and be ready to swing it in that one. Daniel saying Root is so hard to trust, though, been burnt too many times. He's been better down the stretch of the season, but I was totally there with you early on, 1,000% in SEC play. I'm betting on the Arkansas offense overall rather than Tennessee. But, at that price, I'm not necessarily enthusiastic about laying minus 175 with Arkansas against Tennessee there. So just give me that over 11.5. One of my favorite plays of the day. UTSA and UCLA are playing each other tomorrow. The Roadrunners are taking the flight out to Los Angeles, Southern California, Westwood. And so here's the handicap here. I'm betting UCLA. Zach Royce on the mound for UTSA. In his last 3 starts, it's a 6.53 ERA. On the season, he's 9-4 with a 5.16 ERA and 89 innings. He's got 80 strikeouts, 31 walks, and a 3.92 SIERA. His start in the regional against Kansas State was pretty non-competitive. UTSA was able to bust down that door pretty early in that matchup. Kansas State did scratch across 1 or 2 on Royce early in that one. But again, it was pretty non-competitive after like the 4th or 5th inning, if I remember correctly, against UTSA for Kansas State. And I would like to see Royce in a little bit more of a competitive game. I believe he was on the mound for one of those Tulane losses in the AAC tournament. That's one of his last 3 starts where he's got that 6.53 ERA. And UCLA is much better this season at home, especially Michael Barnett. On the year, he's got a 4.18 ERA where he's 11-1 at home at Jackie Robinson Stadium. He's 7-0 with a 2.70 ERA. His last 4 starts has also been great with a 2.92 ERA in 75.1 innings this season. He's got 70 strikeouts, just 18 walks. I think that UCLA is going to be the side that you want to be on in this one because I do think that the Bruins offense looked super good in their regional, where I thought UCLA was one of the vulnerable hosts during that regional weekend. And they had 2 blowouts and then a UC Irvine game that was not very competitive for the majority of it with an 8-5 win. Michael Barnett pitched very well. Then, they go with Landon Stump, and then Ian May was great out of the bullpen in that series. Wyland Moss is a talented freshman that I do believe in. Looking at UCLA, I just think that there's more reason to believe in the Bruins that they win this game. Rock Chalosky should be pretty motivated coming into this weekend, kind of got snubbed for that finalist list to win the Golden Spikes Award. Mulavai Laville was very good the regional weekend. Roman Martin had a few big hits there. UCLA is a team that I like here for Saturday. One of my favorite bets. I like UCLA at this was minus 160 earlier, currently minus 160 still, the total of 12.5. I would probably say that this one has a chance to go over 12.5 here, and minus 1.5 for UCLA is plus 105. Just stick with the money line. I like UCLA minus 160 in this spot as Los Beeves is blowing up my mentions. So that's always great at 3 a.m. in the morning Eastern time. Love that account, though. Let's talk about Oregon State and Florida State. Perfect timing for the guy, right? Picked Los Beeves and his Beavers in game one, took the money line, bet it correctly. Let's go Beavers. However, I think that Jamie Arnold in Florida State gets a W in game two. I picked the Seminoles to win this series. It was a pretty heads-up series overall. The one game that I was able to bank on a win, and I still firmly believe in that, is Jamie Arnold on the bump for Florida State. This guy has been really good, throughout his career at Florida State. Not necessarily his best season, his junior draft year. However, 13 strikeouts against Mississippi State in the postseason. This is a big game pitcher. A 3.12 ERA on the season, 8-2 record, 110 strikeouts in 78 innings with 26 walks, a 206 batting average against. He's going to face Ethan Kleinschmidt, who I do believe has the highest floor in that Oregon State starting rotation. Dax Whitney had an incredible start in game one for the Beavers. They did use Nelson Keljo, Hutchison out of the bullpen. So will be interesting to see what both teams deploy out of their bullpens, because Florida State kind of rode Charles longer than you would like it to lose that game 1,000%. Because now, I mean, this is the bullpen that has had a little bit of a hole throughout the year. Two trusty arms, Joe Charles, John Abraham. Oregon State's already seen both. You need Jamie Arnold to give you 6, 7, 8 strong, shorten up this game big time in order for probably John Abraham, because he was less used in that first game, or hopefully your offense is able to give you a little bit of a cushion, and you can go a little bit deeper into that pen, give Charles and Abraham an off day. And that's the Seminoles' way of winning this game. Minus 154 is a little rich, because I could 1,000% see the Oregon State Beavers winning this game, pulling it off at Goss Stadium. Total at 9.5. I do kind of feel like the under is a good pick. At Goss, in the Pacific Northwest type of thick, cool air at night, the balls don't fly as well. I do think it was a very offensive regional for not only the Beavers, but the entire Corvallis regional. But 9.5, it is a low total. It's more of an MLB total than we see in college baseball. But I think these are two MLB arms, and I think we get really good starts from both. Slightly better Jamie Arnold start. Florida State wins. It stays under the 9.5. And that's going to wrap up the show with all 8 matchups that we've talked about here today. Catching up on the chat here. Can-Am saying, I'd honestly rather take overs on college baseball rather than unders, especially with the metal bats and possible big innings. Yeah, you can't control fielding whatsoever. Like you can look at fielding percentages for teams, but when you apply game pressure on teams, sometimes it's pretty easy for you to crack. Just look at Miami earlier. AJ Siskar on the bump, an easy little chopper, could have fielded it, thrown it to home, gotten a double play with a force out at first as well. He throws it away, literally like a 30-foot throw. And he's a pitcher. Like, he does it routinely from 60 feet, 6 inches. You can't control the game pressure. You just can't. And that spiraled into a couple of homers for Louisville. They did begin that game off with back-to-back homers. The Cardinals did. So Daniel's saying UCLA is his favorite play of the day. Ryan Hasty says UTSA got up for Big Bro. Did they blow their load? He asks. I think UTSA is a very quality team. I think they're going to be pretty game for this series. My doubts are a little bit in Zach Royce and some of that pitching staff, but more Royce because he didn't pitch in a very competitive game. You could say the same thing for Barnett, but throughout the season against power conference competition, 7-0 at home, 270 ERA, minus 160 UCLA. One of my favorite bets there. Dilly Dagger saying Florida State first 5 money line if your app has it. Let's look right now. Good call. Good call. Currently nothing on DraftKings, but it'll probably be available tomorrow. And it's probably going to be a little bit even more juiced than minus 154 because Jamie Arnold's going to demand that tax. But that's probably the much safer way to play that game if you like Florida State because of Arnold on the bump. And the offense plays, man. They just do. Miles Bailey had another bomb. That's like 5 bombs in the last 6 games for him. But yeah, we'll get some alt spreads, first fives, and team totals prior to tomorrow's first pitch. At what time they release, I have no idea. And I probably will not be awake for it, unfortunately. I'll get some sleep here and then wake up around hopefully 11 to see that first game, but we'll see. There was a mistake or two during regional weekend where I slept through a couple of innings of the early slate games. Brandon Westbrook saying, are you confident with the under in West Virginia Duke? So I like the under in West Virginia LSU. Duke and Murray State's my favorite play of the day for the over. Let's recap my favorite plays and get ready to end the show. Favorite play, Murray State, Duke, over 13. Murray State put up 8 runs per game, at least 8 runs a game in that Oxford Regional. Duke's offense has been really good as well this season. Owen Prosch in his last 5 appearances, it's an 8.72 ERA. Nick Shuddy, if he goes in his last 4 appearances, it's an 8.10 ERA. He's their ace for Murray State. They may opt to not throw him because they used him in the Monday regional final. But anybody outside of Shuddy, they obviously believe Shuddy's their best arm. So if they don't use him, outside of Shuddy, Silva, they got hit pretty good in that Oxford Regional. All those games were lacrosse scores. So I like this one to be over 13. That's my favorite play tomorrow. I do love that Tennessee-Arkansas over 11.5, whether it's Marcus Phillips on the bump or Zach Root. Phillips didn't get out of the 5th inning against Arkansas. All 3 games that we just saw these 2 teams play last weekend all went over 11.5 runs total. Zach Root in his start against Tennessee didn't get out of the 4th inning, gave up 4 earned on 7 hits. I just think that both offenses are very talented. Both coaching staffs know each other super well. The scouting report's going to be very good. And I think it lends itself to the offenses having their way in this series and in this game. West Virginia, I like the shot on the money line, plus 240 against LSU. West Virginia's lineup this season has been one of the best units against left-handed pitching. Cade Anderson's an elite southpaw that maybe West Virginia hasn't seen all season, but I think it's worth the shot. It's definitely worth the shot rather than putting LSU money line on your card at minus 330 or even possibly shoving them into a money line parlay. I think it's a little risky with how live that West Virginia offense looks to be so far, the way they've played throughout, the first 10 weeks of the year. And then in that Clemson regional, it's a legit lineup. And then Griffin Kern is a legit left-hander, and that LSU lineup at times can sleepwalk. So plus 240 on the money line. I do love that under 11.5 too. So if you're not willing to jump in on Dub V money line or plus 2.5, take that under 11.5 because you still can get that W even if LSU squeaks out a 5-2 win. I like UCLA minus 160. This is one of the final games that we wrapped up on. Michael Barnett at home this season, 7-0 with a 2.70 ERA. UCLA has been just a much better team at Jackie Robinson Stadium than they have been away. And then you look at Zach Royce in his last 3 starts, it's a 6.53 ERA. And that's counting the good start that he had against Kansas State, where I'm just a little bit of a doubter on, 1, the Kansas State lineup, 2, how competitive that game was, because once Kansas State's down by 7, the competitive switch just gets notched down a little bit. And UCLA ran up all those scores, but I have, watched and have a little bit more confidence in Barnett against quality competition than I do Royce. So yeah, I like UCLA minus 160. I threw this in kind of live because we didn't have the odds prior to the show, but once we popped on here, it populated into the DraftKings Sportsbook, Auburn, Coastal Carolina. I'll give it one refresh to see if any early money hit this game at all. Hasn't moved, so I like Coastal Carolina minus 110. They've got the Sun Belt Pitcher of the Year on the bump and Jacob Morrison. It's really hard to simulate a 6'7" right-handed pitcher on the bump. He's 11-0 on the year at minus 110. Give me that. But honestly, they haven't thrown, some of their other top options out of the bullpen outside of Carbone. But Auburn used Samuel Dutton. They've used Carson Myers. I'm not quite sure. My entire question on Auburn the entire year has been the pitching. They've already used 2 of their top options. I think this is Coastal Carolina's series to lose. Obviously, no shit. They're winning the series 1-0, but the matchups going throughout the rest of the series, I think, are in favor of the Teal Chickens, the Beach Roosters. I piss Teal. Give me Coastal Carolina jumping back on the bandwagon. I had him in Omaha pre-tournament beginning. Once I saw the draw, I should have stuck with it, but I'm going back with it. Give me the Chanticleers minus 110 on the money line there. And that's going to wrap up the show. You can follow me at NoahB77 _. You can follow the show at TCE on SGPN. I'll be live tweeting all the games that I'm watching throughout the weekend. Should be a great day of baseball. We've got 8 games from 11 a.m. And then the final first pitch is 9 p.m. So we'll have 11 a.m. action all the way to probably 12:30 a.m. action. Should be a great day of college baseball. Can't wait to watch it all. Can't wait to be back here tomorrow with Sunday's picks, daily picks throughout the postseason for the 4th straight year here on the College Baseball Experience. Thank you all for tuning in. This has been the College Experience. You better start thinking about yours, and we are out of here.